Always two there are. Shouldn't that be at least 7? This is always two there are. And for once, I actually like this episode of Rebels. And it's weird how AV... First off, I like AV Club's reviews. They're being very critical of Rebels, which I like. Which is refreshing from the mad praise. Like shows like Jedi Council, where they're just always worshipping the ground the show's walking on. And it's not good. Although... honestly, I think sometimes the problems they criticize it for are just problems the show's always had. But yeah, I like this episode, which is rare. Mostly character-driven, mostly fun, focus on Rebels characters as opposed to Clone Wars characters. And this is basically the same episode as The Rise of the Old Masters from last season, except I found it way more engaging. Okay, so in this episode, in the sense that it serves to introduce the Inquisitors for the season. So anyway, Ezra, Sabine, and Zeb go on a supply run to a medical facility, and while they're there, they bump into a female Inquisitor, and then another Inquisitor gets whiff that the Rebels are on the station, so he goes there as well. But the Rebels are able to escape, and they learn the Inquisitors are looking for Ahsoka, and yeah, that's pretty much the episode. So first off, I like the way this episode was handled. I mean, it opens with Rex and Kanan sort of arguing, which I like that they're arguing. I like that they aren't perfectly happy with me. It seems a little too friendly for my taste, but I don't know. They aren't best buds, which I appreciate. And it was also just interesting to see their ideologies class, like when Ezra was trying to lift Chopper. I mean, I'm not entirely on board with the idea if the Force is a lie, it can lie to you. Things aren't always what they seem. But I mean, it was an interesting ideology, and it did help provide some insight into Rex's character. The station I thought all around pretty good. I like the idea that it's just 4 characters if you count Chopper. But 3 or a couple of the Rebels crew goes there. I thought that was a good way to sort of focus the story. Although Sabine still has the personality of a cardboard box. Seriously, you could have written her out of this episode and it still more or less would have played out the same. But it made the story a bit more focused, fewer characters. Seriously, why didn't this show start out with like 3 characters and then just gradually introduce everyone else? Let's see. It's very appropriate how this creepy episode was timed for Halloween. There was a creepy atmosphere all around, like this ghost station. You have the lighting, very, very nice lighting. I mean, the animations come a long way in this show. The creepy Inquisitor theme, which I thought was really cool. Chopper just simply wandering around. It felt very Star Warsy. Kind of reminded me of an Attack of the Clones when R2's like looking around Padme's room for like the bug droids. Then we get the introductions of the villains, and I like these villains much more than the Inquisitor from the previous film. I mean, for one thing, there's a clear goal. Like, we understand, okay, they're trying to find Ahsoka, and they're trying to find her to please Vader to become the next Inquisitor, which I think is kind of interesting. Competition amongst them, nice internal conflict. And also, it's cool, because then you have, like, multiple characters working off each other, which is interesting, as opposed to the Inquisitor just standing at something dark side. And yeah, like, there's actual motivation behind these characters. And there's also an interesting hierarchy from, like, how the Inquisitors answer to Vader. Like, all the officers have to listen to the Inquisitors. That could be a really interesting element and a way to sort of flesh out Callus, and we'll have to see where they go with that. Like, I like how they aren't working there, but, like, the 7th sister's doing her own thing, and then the 5th brother catches wind, and he goes after, like, I like how they're all hunting them, but they're all hunting him independently. That could lead to some interesting clashes between the Inquisitors. The best, of course, right now. I'm curious if we're gonna meet more Inquisitors and they just aren't telling us about them because they want to surprise us. But I really like the Seventh Sister. Sarah Michelle puts a lot of fun work into the voice acting. I love how playful she is. I mean, in Comic-Con, Geller gives this whole description of her character, and it like really shows that, okay, this character's been really well thought out, and Geller really gets it. I love her design. I love those cool little probe droids she has helping her out. And whenever she came on, there was always this sense of danger and threat. And I liked Ezra's interaction with Geller. Not Geller, the Seventh Sister. Like, you get a bit of seeds of the dark side. Although some of the dialogue about join the dark side, I'm sick of hearing that by the umpteenth time. Although Zeb got a nice heroic moment. I liked how he had to outsmart the Inquisitors. It was a Lord Melrun thing. And it was kind of clever because Steve Bloom basically was using the exact same voice in that bit that he uses whenever he's voicing an Imperial officer. There was a narrow escape, which I thought was fun. Good, like, yeah, again, Inquisitors feel threatening. So overall, so far this season's much better. Again, it's more focused, there's a clear direction. It's more Star Wars-y, I mean, we're adventuring, we're hopping around the galaxy, going all these different locations. The fleet and Ghost are like our central hub, but we're not just stuck on boring Lothal. The animation's better, although on the Ghost, like, there was some animation like Hera with default face. I mean, my only fault with the show so far is, like, they give the show a very clear identity from the start, and unlike Clone Wars, where, you know, it starts as a kid show and then they evolve and realize we want to make it more adult, like Rebels, it's going to stay within that confine. Like, there's a certain bar of cute, charming Star Wars that I think Rebels is set for itself that I don't think it's ever going to pass, unfortunately. And the other thing I don't like about Rebels is the airing schedule. And it's not because Rebels has a bad airing schedule. In fact, it has a really good airing schedule. Every week there's a new episode, which you're wondering, well, why does that upset you? And it's like, it upsets me because another show on Disney XD, Gravity Falls, my favoriteest show on Disney XD and one of the bestest shows out there right now, has the most inconsistent airing schedule. There is every time an episode comes on, I have no idea when the next one's going to air. Sometimes it could be days, weeks. There's little to no promotion. I mean, seriously, it's like the next episode of Gravity Falls is going to air a month from now. A freaking month. We are in the middle of its series finale. We are in the final stretch. These are episodes that are clearly meant to be aired back to back or close proximity, and Disney's just going to air them a month. And I'm like, screw you. How does this show get first-class treatment? Oh, right, it's Star Wars. But yeah, hopefully it keeps up its good track record. I'm liking where the show's going so far. Season 2, and yeah, I can't wait for the next episode. Although I'm more excited for Gravity Falls. So, leave your thoughts on the episode in the comments below. Like, dislike, subscribe. And this is JStar60. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, may the Force be with you.